I need to tell you something about curses, something I didn't understand for a long time, something that changes everything. Curses don't just respond to danger, they respond to safety. And safety is more dangerous than fear ever was. I'd been staying in that town for 4 months. 4 months longer than I'd stayed anywhere since Marin. 4 months of coffee and dock chairs and quiet conversations. 4 months of pretending I could have something normal. And for a while, it worked. The transformation stayed predictable. Full moons only, I'd chain myself up in an abandoned warehouse at the edge of town, somewhere far from people, far from her. I'd wake up the next morning, exhausted, aching, covered in dirt, but still myself, still in control. I thought I had it figured out. I thought proximity to Iris was making me better, not worse. I was wrong. The first sign came on a Tuesday, not a full moon, not even close. I was working on a boat, engine, routine maintenance, nothing complicated. When I felt it, that familiar pull, that pressure behind my eyes, that ache in my bones that meant my body was trying to become something else. I stopped working, stood very still, breathed slowly, told my body, not now, not here. It passed, but barely. My hands were shaking. My vision had sharpened for just a moment. Colors too bright, details too clear. I'd almost shifted, in broad daylight, in the middle of the marina, 10 yards from where Iris was working. I packed up my tools and left without saying goodbye. Went back to my room and didn't come out until the next morning. Iris noticed. Of course she did. When I came by for coffee the next day, she looked at me carefully. "You okay?" she asked. "Fine," I said. "You left pretty quickly yesterday." "Had to take care of something." She nodded, but I could tell she didn't entirely believe me. Still, she didn't push. She never pushed. "Coffee's fresh," she said, turning back to her work, and just like that, she let it go. That should have made me feel better. Instead, it made me feel worse. Because I was lying to her, not directly, but by omission, by letting her think I was just a quiet, transient worker with a preference for solitude. By letting her get close to someone she didn't actually know. The second sign came a week later. I was at Iris's apartment. She'd invited me over for dinner, nothing fancy, just pasta and salad. And I'd said yes without thinking, without remembering that being in small, enclosed spaces with people I cared about was dangerous. We were sitting on her couch after we ate. She was reading. I was pretending to watch something on her TV. But really I was just aware of her, the sound of her breathing, the warmth of her body a few feet away, the way she'd tuck her hair behind her ear when she was concentrating. It was peaceful, comfortable, safe. And that's when I felt it again, that pull, stronger this time. My heart started racing. My skin felt too tight. I could feel my body starting to argue with itself, human versus animal, control versus instinct. I stood up abruptly. Iris looked up from her book. "What's wrong?" "I need to go," I said. "Now?" "Yes." I was already moving toward the door. Iris set her book down and followed me. "Elias, what's going on?" "Nothing," I said. I need to leave." "Did I do something?" The concern in her voice almost broke me. "No," I said, "you didn't do anything. I can't be here right now." I left before she could ask any more questions. I walked, fast, then faster, until I was running. I made it to the woods at the edge of town, just as the transformation started. It wasn't a full shift, just partial. My hands twisted, my spine curved, my teeth ached, my vision sharpened, and my hearing amplified, and every sound became overwhelming. But I stayed conscious. I stayed myself, barely. I crouched in the dirt, shaking, fighting my own body until it finally subsided. When I could think clearly again, I realized something that terrified me. The transformation had almost happened because I felt safe. Not threatened, not angry, not afraid. Safe. I'd been sitting on Iris's couch, comfortable and content, and my body had decided that was the perfect time to let go, because safety lowers your guard, and when your guard is down, the curse can slip through. I avoided Iris for 3 days after that. Not completely. I still went to work, still nodded hello when I saw her, but I didn't go inside the shop, didn't accept coffee, didn't sit in the folding chairs. I kept distance. On the 3rd day, Iris came to find me. I was replacing planks on the far dock, the one farthest from the shop, when I heard her footsteps. "You're avoiding me," she said. Not a question. I didn't look up from my work. "I'm working." "You've been working on the opposite side of the marina for 3 days," she said. "That's avoiding." I set down my hammer, turned to face her. She had her arms crossed, but she didn't look angry, just tired. "Did I do something wrong?" she asked. "No." "Then what's going on?" I wanted to tell her. I wanted to say, "I'm dangerous. Being close to you makes me lose control. I almost transformed on your couch, and if I had, I don't know what would have happened. But I couldn't. So instead I said, I just need space sometimes." Iris studied me. "Okay," she said finally. "But you could have just said that instead of disappearing." She was right. "I'm sorry," I said. She nodded, started to walk away, then stopped. "Elias?" "Yeah?" "I meant what I said before," she said. "You can stay, but you can also leave. I'm not trying to trap you here." And then she left. I stood there on the dock, hammer in hand, and felt something crack open in my chest, because she was giving me permission to leave, and I didn't want to take it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about what Iris had said, about what I'd been doing, about the way the curse was changing. It had always been simple before. Full moon, transformation, stay away from people, stay safe, control your emotions, control the curse. But something had shifted. The curse was responding to things it never had before, to comfort, to contentment, to the feeling of being home. And I didn't understand why. Until I did. The realization came at 3 a.m, lying in the dark, staring at the ceiling. The curse wasn't getting worse. It was getting confused. For years, I'd trained my body to associate people with danger, with the need to run, with the constant vigilance required to keep everyone safe. But Iris made me feel safe, and my body didn't know what to do with that. It had spent so long in survival mode that when I finally relaxed, it thought that meant it was time to let the wolf out. The wolf wasn't responding to threat. It was responding to the absence of threat. And that was so much more dangerous because I couldn't fight that. I couldn't stay vigilant against my own peace. The next full moon came 2 weeks later. I did what I always did, went to the warehouse, chained myself up, waited for it to pass. But something was different this time. The transformation was harder, more violent, like my body was angry that I'd been suppressing it. And when I woke up the next morning, I wasn't in the warehouse. I was outside. The chains were broken, snapped like they were made of paper. I'd gotten out. I sat up slowly, trying to remember, trying to piece together what had happened. Fragments came back, running, hunting, the smell of the town, the pull toward something familiar, toward someone familiar. And then I saw it. Footprints in the dirt. Mine. Half human, half animal. Leading away from the warehouse. Leading toward town. Leading toward the marina. My blood went cold. I followed the prints. They led through the woods, along the back roads, right to the edge of the marina parking lot. And then they stopped. Just stopped. Like I'd stood there for a while, deciding. I looked up. I could see Iris's apartment from here, second floor, lights off. She'd been asleep, safe, and I'd been standing here, in the dark, transformed, watching. I felt sick. I didn't remember it, but the evidence was right there in the dirt. I'd come back, not to the warehouse, not to some random part of the woods. I'd come back to her. The wolf had come back to her. And I didn't know if that was because it wanted to protect her or because it wanted something else. I went back to my room, showered, changed, tried to process what had happened. I should have left town immediately, packed my truck and disappeared before anyone woke up, before Iris could ask questions, before I could do something I couldn't take back. But I didn't leave, because I needed to know. I needed to know if she'd seen anything, if she'd heard anything, if she knew how close I'd come. So I went to a shop that afternoon. Iris was behind the counter, doing inventory. She looked up when I walked in, smiled, normal, warm, unsuspecting. "Hey," she said, "coffee?" "Yeah," I said, watching her carefully. "Thanks." She poured 2 cups, slid one across to me. "You look tired," she said. "Didn't sleep well." "Bad dreams." Something like that. She nodded, sipping her coffee. Everything seemed normal. Too normal. "Did you hear anything last night?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Iris frowned. "Like what?" "I don't know. Dogs barking, maybe, or anything unusual." She thought about it. "No," she said. "Why?" "Just curious." She gave me a strange look, but didn't press. And I realized she didn't know. She'd been asleep, safe in her apartment, while I'd been standing outside in the dark. She had no idea how close she'd come to what? That was the question that terrified me. What would have happened if I'd gone inside? If the door had been unlocked? If she'd woken up and come outside? Would I have heard her? Or would the wolf have recognized her the way some part of me clearly did? I didn't know, and not knowing was unbearable. "Elias," Iris said. I looked up. "You sure you're okay?" she asked. No, I wasn't okay. I was the furthest thing from okay. But I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." She didn't look convinced, but she let it go. She always let things go. And that was part of the problem, because I needed someone to demand answers, to force me to tell the truth, to make me leave before I destroyed everything. But Iris didn't do that. She just trusted me. And I was abusing that trust with every moment I stayed. That night, I sat on the dock alone, trying to decide what to do. I should leave. I knew I should leave. But every time I thought about packing my truck and driving away, I thought about coming back, and that was the most terrifying part. Not that I might hurt her, but that I might not want to leave even after I did. The wolf had come back. It had broken free, run through the woods, and instead of running farther, away from people, away from civilization, it had come back to her. And I didn't know what that meant. But I knew it wasn't good, Because love is supposed to make you better. It's supposed to make you want to be better. But what if love makes you dangerous? What if the thing you love most is the thing you're most likely to destroy? What if staying isn't brave? What if staying is the cruelest thing you can do? I sat there until sunrise, and when the light finally came, I still didn't have an answer. But I had a realization. I wasn't afraid of hurting her. Not anymore. I was afraid of not wanting to leave. I was afraid of the part of me that had broken chains and walked through the dark just to be near her. I was afraid that the wolf wasn't trying to hunt her. It was trying to come home to her. And if that was true, then I was more dangerous than I'd ever been. Because a wolf that thinks it belongs somewhere is a wolf that will fight to stay. Next time, I'll tell you about the conversation that changed everything, about the moment Iris asked me the question I'd been avoiding, and about the choice I made. That hurt us both. Stay with me, because this is where the story breaks, and neither of us saw it coming.